Hello guys, I am Agathor and welcome to a guide to projectiles in ARK Survival Evolved. In this video, we're going to be looking at each projectile from the spear to the robotically self-aware auto turret, investigating damage, effective range, weapon attachments, and answering all manner of head-scratching questions. This will be a lengthy guide, so I've added links in the description to help you jump between each weapon if you so choose. But if you do watch it all, you can boast to your friends about your vast weapon knowledge at the end of this video. Working our way up the engram list then, we're going to start off with the spear. The spear is a heavy thrown weapon that breaks very easily when using it. While holding down the right mouse button and releasing, you can throw the spear a fair distance, but if it causes damage to a player or creature, the spear has a chance to be consumed. In the chest of a naked player with a default fortitude, a thrown spear causes 80 damage, while the melee hit causes 30 damage. Both of these attacks do not cause torpor. The slingshot consumes raw stones as ammunition with a low effective range. Each shot with a slingshot requires you to pull back the string before firing, so the rate of fire isn't great and you cannot pick up fired stones. You can, however, hold right mouse button to make sure each shot counts. Firing at the chest of a naked player with a default fortitude yields only 14 damage, but 23 torpor. So the slingshot is a very effective weapon at pushing players and creatures to the unconsciousness state. While mainly used to light up dark areas, the flare gun is worth testing as a weapon. The flare gun requires no ammo to fire, but instead consumes the entire flare gun after using it one time, lighting up areas for roughly 40 seconds on flat ground. When fired at a player, it will cause no damage and no torpor, but does blind the player with a bright light very briefly if fired directly at them. The flare gun is the first projectile on our list to allow you to pistol whip by pressing left control. Pistol whipping causes a low amount of damage, but causes a lot of torpor. Next up, we have a bushcrafter's weapon of choice, the bow. The range of the bow is fairly decent and arrows will rarely get consumed if you don't pick them up after 30 seconds or so. However, when retrieving arrows from a player or creature, the player or creature will need to be dead for you to pick up the arrows from the body. The bow can be used in melee and generates a good amount of torpor, while the damage of the bow when fired with a stone arrow is 50, causing 0 torpor. With a tranquilized arrow, the bow causes 20 damage and a huge 90 torpor in the chest, rendering players unconscious in just one shot, making the tranquilized arrow one of the best projectiles to cause torpor. Now before we move on to guns, I want to bring everyone up to speed on weapon attachments. There are 5 weapon attachments in ARK Survival Evolved. The first attachment is the scope, unlocking at level 30 and requiring a smithy to craft. The scope gives you additional magnification and a decent reticle. FYI, field of view does not affect the magnification, thankfully. Secondly, we have the silencer, unlocking at level 40 and also requiring a smithy to craft. A silencer reduces the noise of guns substantially, but creatures are just as aware of where the shot came from if you shoot them. Next, we have the flashlight attachment, unlocking at level 45 and requiring a fabricator to craft. Depending on the weapon it's attached to, the flashlight is very useful at night. You can toggle it on or off by pressing N. The second attachment you can also toggle on and off is the laser attachment, unlocking at the high level of level 55 and also requiring a fabricator to craft. At night this attachment is very useful at long distances, but during the day it gets hard to see the dot past roughly 80 meters. FYI, other players can see the red dot as clearly as you can. Lastly, but certainly not least, is the holoscope, also unlocking at level 55 and requiring a fabricator to craft. The holoscope gives you a slight magnification and has frickin' night vision, but sadly cannot be toggled on or off. Now that we all know that, we're going to start our gun list off with this simple pistol, firing simple bullets. The simple pistol allows 4 attachments: the scope, silencer, flashlight and laser sight attachment. However, only one attachment can be attached to any one gun at a time. To remove the attachment, hold down shift and drag it off. In addition to this, you can take ammo out of the gun by holding down control and dragging. The simple pistol holds 6 rounds and doesn't have the best iron sight, so isn't great for sniping unless you have the scope attached. With the scope attached, the effective range of the pistol is as far as you can see. It's as far as you can see because there doesn't seem to be any bullet drop in ARK Survival Evolved at the moment, and the simple pistol doesn't have any gun sway. To add to this, damage is consistent over range, so at point blank or at a fair distance, the simple pistol inflicts 80 damage and 0 torpor, while pistol whipping causes a good amount of torpor. Moving on to ARK's equivalent of a sniper rifle, the Longneck rifle, firing simple rifle ammo. The Longneck rifle allows a scope, silencer, flashlight and laser as an attachment and has to be reloaded after every shot. When looking down the iron sights, the front and rear sights of the Longneck don't appear to be aligned properly, but as long as you align the front sight with your target, you shouldn't miss, because again, like the simple pistol, the Longneck can hit any target within view distance and cause a massive 220 damage at any range. While this is a great amount of damage, the Longneck, unlike the simple pistol, has weapon sway. Now onto one of the more abnormal weapons on this list, the shotgun. The ammo it uses being one of the most resource hungry, the simple shotgun ammo. The shotgun has 2 barrels, so technically it's a double barrel shotgun, but it cannot fire both barrels at the same time, and it's the only handheld gun that doesn't allow any attachments. The effective range of the shotgun is very low, around 10 meters, and the damage varies based on how many of the multiple pellets hit your target. So in effect, the closer you are, the more chance you have of doing more damage. To give you an example of this, at 1 meter the shotgun does roughly 160 damage, whereas at 8 meters it only does roughly 30 damage, both not causing torpor. However, all of this depends solely on how the pellets spread, and it's complete RNG. Just be sure to be close and hit them with both shells. You can always finish them off as you're in close combat with a melee hit with a shotgun if they don't go down. Now onto a gun that I'm sure many of you will favour, the Fabricated Pistol firing the advanced bullets. The reason I think this weapon will be favoured is for how cheap the ammo is to craft. The drawback is, this weapon only inflicts 35 damage per shot and no torpor, but seeing as you have 13 rounds in a magazine and a fast rate of fire, it kind of makes up for it. The accuracy is the same as the simple pistol as far as you can see because it does not have weapon sway, and the attachments are the same too, the scope, silencer, flashlight and laser attachment. The major difference is, the Fabricated Pistol is much easier to shoot with the iron sights. Now for a gun that the majority will likely favour, including myself, the assault rifle, firing the advanced rifle ammo, which is very costly, making even the best resource gatherers cringe at the sight of missing a shot with this gun. Another downside to the assault rifle is how poor the effective range is, because the holoscope doesn't magnify much and the assault rifle has weapon sway much like the Longneck. It's hard to push this assault rifle past 100 meters, but that's probably a good thing, seeing as it's one of the deadliest weapons in close quarters combat. The attachments for the assault rifle are the silencer, flashlight, holoscope and laser attachment, with the damage of the assault rifle being 40 damage per round with 0 torpor again. But because it can fire a relentless 40 rounds before it needs to be reloaded, it has loads of stamina that no gun can compete with. Well, maybe one gun can. And that gun is the auto turret. More of a base defense than a handheld projectile, the auto turret is the most badass ranged weapon on this list, but it comes at a very demanding price, and not only because it fires the same ammo as the assault rifle, the advanced rifle ammo. The auto turret, in order to operate, must be powered by a generator that runs on gasoline. Then you will need a cable to connect the outlet box to the generator. The outlet box kind of works like a Wi-Fi for electrical devices within around a 20 meter radius, so placing your auto turret down within 20 meters of it will say that your turret is powered once placed. When your generator has fuel inside it and is turned on, you can turn on your auto turret. The auto turret has a vast array of options which I'll go over briefly. You can change the range at which the auto turret will shoot targets. You can set this to low, medium or high, with high being around 30 to 40 meters. Secondly, you can cycle between what the auto turret should shoot at, just like Splinter Cell. Tamed pets and players only or all targets, but on the all target settings it won't shoot at tribe members or tribe pets. And finally, straight out of Robocop, we have my favourite setting, warning level. You can adjust the auto turret to make a warning sound for 0, 2 or 4 seconds before it begins to shoot at its target. It's probably a good idea to have this on, as the auto turret will shoot you if you get in the way of its target. In terms of damage, the auto turret causes 50 damage and 0 torpor per round, so 10 damage more than the assault rifle, but fires fairly slow compared. The auto turret, however, does hit pretty much every target it shoots at. So those are the projectiles of ARK Survival Evolved. I didn't include the RPG on this list because I'm going to be covering it in a guide about explosives. And finally, to bring this guide to a close and answer some additional questions, herbivores do not flee when hearing the sound of a gun, and predators are not attracted to the sound of a gun. The simple bullets do not fit in any gun that takes the advanced bullets, and vice versa. Shooting in the head doesn't cause torpor, only more damage. No weapon on this list when fired at a structure causes damage to that structure, at least not yet. You cannot shoot through objects, so bullet penetration is not in ARK, and you cannot fire any of these weapons underwater. The info in this guide took quite a while to put together, so a like is much appreciated to get this guide out there. Thank you for watching. A lot of this info will change as ARK evolves, and I will see you in the next video.